Hello, candle lovers! Thank you for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg, and this is all about candles. Happy Sunday, everyone. We have come to the end of another weekend, and so it is time for the weekly wax wrap-up. This is when I go through all of the candles that I have finished burning recently, talk about how they smelled, how they performed, all of that good stuff. After the candles, we're going to talk about some candle company news, do a burning question, got to do a recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Please know that I mark all of my videos with chapters, so feel free to navigate towards whatever part of this video might be of interest to you. Got a lot of candles to get through this week. I've got stuff from Bath & Body Works. I've got stuff from Goose Creek. I've got stuff from Yankee Candle. So let's just get right into it. Chocolate covered berries from Bath & Body Works. This was just released in the first wave of spring candles, and I think that this is sort of kind of the closest thing that they've really done to a Valentine's Day collection. We did get that other collection that came out a little bit afterwards with strawberry pound cake and sweetheart cherry and violets are blue. This came out a little bit before that though. I like the packaging on these candles. I really like the touch of the red lid on this one. I think it's very simple, really sophisticated, really lovely collection overall. I've also been burning Vanilla Cloud and Wine Cellar from this collection, which I've really been enjoying. The scent notes on chocolate covered berries are rich milk chocolate, sweet berries, and white chocolate drizzle. I can't really say that I pick up on the white chocolate in here so much, and it is really kind of sort of a vague berry scent note. I can't really quite pinpoint what berry exactly I'm picking up on. It seems mostly probably like kind of a strawberry situation, but I also pick up on a little bit of sort of a sharp berry fruitness, which might be a little bit of a raspberry happening in there as well. Quite a few people have said that they're picking up on a little bit of banana in this fragrance, and I totally understand that. There is also sort of that kind of like a smooth, like vague, fruity sweetness to this fragrance, but overall I'd say predominantly the simplest way to explain the fragrance of this is milk chocolate and strawberry, and the milk chocolate note in here is pretty nice. It's not quite as rich and creamy as something like hot cocoa and cream from Bath & Body Works. It's perhaps just a little bit darker than that. Overall, I have to say I really liked the way that this fragrance smelled. It's not exactly my favorite type of fragrance, but once in a while I really do enjoy something like this. And overall, I feel like this candle was really quite well done because it performed pretty well. It burned pretty well. I burned it all the way down till there was nothing left. I did let that last burn go off for a little bit longer than I probably should have, which is why you're seeing quite a bit of discoloration at the end there. I've talked about this before, but I have a bad habit sometimes. Once a candle gets down to like less than an inch left on it, I will kind of just let it burn and burn and burn and burn. It's not a good habit, and definitely don't ever do that unless you are monitoring the candle the entire time. But I really just like to get as much out of a candle as I can. Yeah, so I think that a lot of the discoloration at the bottom here was really my fault. The strength and throw on this was good though. I'd say it was probably hitting like a 6.5 in my more open space easily. It was very noticeable, and the throw on this was good as well. I noticed it definitely traveling into other areas of my place other than my more open space, and yeah, I could really pick up on it quite easily. It had a very sort of distinct note. I'd say that when it was burning, you really get that chocolate note more than anything, and the kind of vague berry note in there sort of comes second. I did put this in the bedroom just for a little while. It was easily getting up to a 7 for strength and throw in there, and so I'm happy to report like new candle, new fragrance from Bath & Body Works, something that I think fruit lovers will enjoy, gourmand lovers will enjoy. Not, like I said, not my favorite type of fragrance, but overall this was a really successful candle in my opinion, and I think a lot of people are probably really gonna like this one. Yeah, I really can't say that I have any complaints about chocolate covered berries. Well done, Bath and Body Works. It's always nice when I get to report some good news. I did not enjoy this berry Bellini as much though. Blueberry Bellini also sort of came out in the first big wave of spring candles from Bath and Body Works. I actually really kind of like the packaging on this one. I think it's kind of confusing that this candle, it seems like it has two fronts to it. Like it looks like this could be the front of the candle. It also looks like that could be the front of the candle. I really can't figure out like why they did that, to be honest with you. It is a little bit strange, but I thought that this photographic wraparound was really nice, and it actually looked really pretty when it was burning as well. So no real complaints about the packaging here. The scent notes on Blueberry Bellini are wild blueberry, bright citrus, and sparkling wine. And I have to say, I enjoyed smelling this candle on cold more than I really enjoyed it when it was burning. I think that the blueberry note in here is kind of nice. It reminds me a little bit of wild Maine blueberry from Village Candle, in the sense that it actually comes across to me like there is a little bit more of a raspberry note in here. Like it seems like there's like a blueberry raspberry combo happening, and raspberry isn't listed in the scent notes, but I do pick up on the citrus as well. It's sort of, yeah, like a blueberry raspberry citrus blend. I appreciated that I didn't actually really pick up that much on the bubbly, the sparkling wine, like the effervescent quality of it. It came across to me more like a fairly like straightforward berry and citrus blend with a little bit of tartness, but also a little bit of smoothness to it. And I enjoyed smelling it on cold, but when it was burning, the fragrance really kind of got a lot more lost on me. It wasn't a great performer, and it seemed to flatten out a little bit when it was burning. And I really feel like I was picking up more on sort of more of a sharp and like tart berry note. I felt like I was picking up more on raspberry and citrus when this was burning than I was blueberry. I actually thought that the blueberry note in here was getting a little bit lost for me. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great, and it wasn't a great performer. I burned this down until the bottom there. Really nice clean burn on this. As you can see, like there's no soot marks, and the wax is really, really nice and clean looking at the end there. Strength and throw was not good though. I really felt like I could detect it when it was in my more open space, so I guess I would give it like a 5. But it felt like the fragrance actually flattened out a lot more when it was burning. I wasn't picking up as much on the nuance of it as I was when I was smelling it on cold, and it really just came across more as sort of like kind of like a vague fruity raspberry fragrance. If you were also disappointed by this candle, I would actually recommend checking out that Wild Maine Blueberry candle from Village. I think that is a lot more successful, to be honest with you. Anyways, yeah, I'd say that the most I could give this in my more open space was like a 5 for strength and throw. I never really tried it in a different space because I just wasn't that obsessed with it. But it was a nice clean burn, and I felt like I could let this burn for a pretty long time without running into problems, you know? It never dudded out, and it also never got like really super crazy. You could easily let this go for 3 hours, maybe even a little bit more than 3 hours without any problems, but I just wasn't really thrilled with the experience of the fragrance on this one, to be honest with you. Not going to be a repurchase for me or a recommendation for you. Okay, we've got Popcorn and Slushie, the Bath and Body Works Better Together collection that they put out on Candle Day. I thought the packaging was nice enough. I mean, it was kind of corny and cartoony and I don't know, maybe a little bit juvenile. I really did like the shade of blue on the wax. It's a little bit discolored right now, but you know, before that happened, it was a really like nice shade of blue, which is probably my favorite thing about the appearance of this candle. This Better Together collection, what were the other ones? Pizza and ranch, which I thought was disgusting. Salsa and chips, which I thought smelled pretty gross. I'm not a big fan of like super savory like food candles, so I didn't even pick those up. Coffee and donuts I didn't really like, but that candle was a little bit of a powerhouse in terms of strength and throw. And then this popcorn and slushie, I honestly cannot decide if I liked this fragrance or not. It is so strange. The scent notes on here just say a movie marathon with a blue raspberry slush and a large buttered popcorn. When I first smelt this in the store, I actually felt like I was picking up more on like that berry note, that blue sort of berry, kind of artificial berry note. But then when it was burning, I was definitely getting way more of the popcorn fragrance in here, like a very like buttery popcorn fragrance. But it's also not like, what was it? There was a candle that came out in a summer collection probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I believe it was just called Buttered Popcorn. It is a little bit similar to that, but this has, obviously with the berry note, this definitely had a little bit more of a sweeter component to it. It smells almost kind of like, I wouldn't distinctly pick up on like a fruity blue raspberry note. It kind of reminds me the most of that sort of sweet kettle corn that you can get. I can't think of the brand right now, but a lot of brands do this, you know, like the bags of like pre-popped popcorn, that sort of sweet like kettle corn popcorn. It really reminds me a lot of that. And I just can't decide if I actually like this fragrance or not. I definitely don't like it so much that I'm upset that I don't have another one, but I didn't mind experiencing it kind of once, you know. It was kind of weird. It was kind of interesting. And I like strange fragrances. Like, I'm perfectly happy to try a fragrance that's a little bit odd. And this is just like, yeah, like a really sweet kettle popcorn fragrance. And I'd have to say that it actually performed really quite well. It burned really nicely, considering there's colored wax on here. It really burned quite nicely from beginning to end. I mean, look at the wax, even though it became a little bit discolored, it's still quite clean, and those wicks are still standing up really tall. This never really dudded out or gave me any issues. I'd say that in my more open space, this was like a 6.5, maybe even a 7 for strength and throw. And the fragrance from this one really traveled as well. And since it is such a sort of odd, sweet fragrance, you really notice it, you know? Like, it felt like it really traveled throughout my house, and I was picking up whiffs of it wherever I was. Yeah, easily like a 6.5, maybe even a 7 in my more open space. Like, no complaints for strength and throw from the popcorn and slushie. just a really weird one. Like I said, not obsessed, but also I'm glad that I bought it. I kind of like experiencing, you know, kind of odd fragrances like that once in a while, and that one was odd. I really can't. I don't know how to pass judgment on a fragrance like that other than to say it's definitely not for everybody. I know there's a couple people out there that really, really loved this one and backed it up. And I also know that there were some people who were just appalled just by sniffing it in the store. So yeah, you gotta decide for yourself on a candle like that. I also finished up a couple of Pure Wonders from Bath & Body Works. In fact, oddly enough, I ended up with quite a few of Bath & Body Works' sort of, you know, like single fragrance launch candles that I finished this week. This is the most recent version of Pure Wonder that came out on Candle Day. I thought it was really nice packaging on this candle, very appropriate to this sort of, the aesthetic that we always get from Pure Wonder, this sort of white and either silver and or gold kind of sparkly situation. And yeah, this came out on Candle Day this year, and then this version came out on Candle Day in 2023. And I don't know why I was holding on to it for so long. And this one had colored wax, which I thought was a nice touch, and just a front-facing rectangle label here with quite a bit of sparkle in the little silver accents all over the front of this label. I think that they both look pretty nice, to be honest with you. These candles really burned very similarly, which is strange because usually candles with colored wax will perform a little bit differently than their counterpart, which just has like regular plain wax on it. I felt like they were pretty much the same for strength and throw and for burn quality. The scent notes on Pure Wonder are iced rosé, star jasmine, and warm white amber. I wouldn't say that this is one of my favorite sort of body care single fragrance launch situations from Bath & Body Works. It leans just a little bit too fruity for me, but I do like the amber note in here. I kind of like the sort of sweet freshness of this fragrance. It's not one that I'm like always running out to buy and stocking up on, but I'll give it a go once in a while. It's got sort of effervescent, kind of almost bubbly fruitiness to it. It's a very typical Bath & Body Works fruity floral. You know, it's definitely not a groundbreaking fragrance by any means, and I'm actually kind of surprised that it is still around so often. I've actually also got a 1,000 Wishes here, which is another candle that I finished up. It's very similar to 1,000 Wishes, and I'm kind of surprised that we see this come out so often since it is so similar to stuff from Bath & Body Works that is regularly on the floor. There must be a following of people that really, really like Pure Wonder and just keep, you know, snapping it up. I think that you get a little bit of a sort of red and a white floral in here. It says warm white amber. It doesn't really come across as a warm amber note to me. It comes more across as like kind of a bright, like almost like a white amber. And yeah, just a fairly typical fruity floral from Bath & Body Works, and it's pleasant enough, but it's certainly not something that I die over. You know, I always say like my favorite sort of single fragrance launch from Bath & Body Works has been Into the Night and In the Stars. Those are the two that I really, really love. But hey, variety is the spice of life, and so every once in a while I give a Pure Wonder a try. I thought the candle performed okay. Both of them, like I said, performed quite similarly. They did both have a little bit of a dudding out situation. After the halfway point, I think I had to let them both burn at one point for many, many hours to get over that dudding out. And then it kind of corrected itself and it burned okay for the end of the candle there. No sooting really, a fairly clean burn. Towards the end there, you can see the wax did get just a little bit discolored, but nothing terrible. This one looks a little bit cleaner, but remember that this one had colored wax. Once this whole candle liquefied, I did notice that the wick started to drift a little bit, and when that starts to happen, I just blow it out and call it a day. That's game over. I think I might have caught a little bug. I think I might have caught a little bug with this candle, which is a little bit concerning to me because I never burned this outside. Actually, no, I think that's just a piece of chopped wick. I think that might just be a wick clipping on the side of the jar there. Phew, that's good to know. Because if I'm getting bugs in my candles in the middle of winter, when they're burning inside of my house, that would be a cause for concern. Anyways, yeah, so Strength and Throw on Pure Wonder, not fantastic, which is why I burned both of them at the same time for a little while. I'd say that on their own, they were both about a 5 for Strength and Throw. In my more open space, I could tell that it was there. Never put them into the bedroom, but I did notice I had another one sitting in the candle closet, and so I would burn them together fairly often, and I'd say that burning them together in my more open space, we were getting easily like a 7 or a 7.5. It was nice. There is something just sort of a little bit like floral and fruity and refreshing about Pure Wonder. Definitely not running out to get myself another one anytime soon. But I wouldn't say that it's a candle that I'm never gonna purchase again. You know, I go through a lot of candles, and so they don't all need to be 10 out of 10s for me. I like to have a whole bunch of variety in the candle closet. I also finished up this Perfect in Pink. I really like Perfect in Pink. I liked this candle the first time that I burned it, and I think I liked it even more this second time burning it right now. When did I get this one? This one came out in 2024. Yeah, did this come out again for Candle Day this year? If it did, I didn't pick up another. At least I don't think that I did, because I knew I had backed this up when it first came out in 2024, because I did enjoy it. And I think that this label is really nice. It's really giving that pink bow realness, you know? There's something a little bit kind of flashy and iridescent about this label, and I really love this lid, this like bright pink metallic lid. So much fun. The scent notes on Perfect in Pink say vibrant cherries, pink camellia, and whipped almond cream. And this definitely gives us that sort of, you know, cherry had a big moment in like 2024 and 2025. Lots of cherry fragrances coming out from all of the fragrance companies. During that period of time, we probably had like 5 or 6 of these types of fragrances come out from Bath and Body Works. There was also Sweetheart Cherry, which we have just seen get put on the shelves again. And then they had that like vacation collection, which were it was all like personal like body care fragrance stuff, and they were like very clear obvious dupes of Sol de Janeiro. And I would say that this fragrance, this Perfect in Pink, it definitely feels like it's quite heavily inspired by that Sol de Janeiro vibe. That sort of beachy body care, rich cherry, whipped almonds, vanilla, like that scent profile that was like so popular for quite a while. But I really thought that this one was good, and a really good performing candle as well. It is like a very sort of sharp, kind of like in your face fragrance. Like something about the packaging and the pinkness of it all might lead you to believe that this is gonna be something a little bit softer and a little bit demure, but there's actually quite a sharpness to this fragrance. The cherry, the mix of the cherry and the floral really comes across. And then even that whipped almond cream, it's really strong as well. It's quite a highly pitched fragrance, but there's something about it that I really do like. And even though, you know, it definitely smells like a body care fragrance, I really enjoyed it in terms of like home fragrance as well. Yeah, I really liked Perfect in Pink. It smells so rich and just luxe, you know? And this candle burned really well. It performs well too. No discoloration really on the jar there for sooting. Just a little bit of swirliness at the very end there with the wax. But the strength and throw on this was really good. I'd say that in my more open space, this is like a 7 for strength and throw. It's quite an unmistakable fragrance. And yeah, I mean, I have no complaints at how this candle performed. This also, it never got put into the bedroom or the bathroom. Like, this was doing really well in my more open space, and I really like it. I also used the shower gel for this fragrance when it came out, and I really enjoyed that too. So yeah, no big complaints about Perfect in Pink. I like this one. I think I have one more left in my stash, but otherwise, yeah, this would be a repurchase for me and a recommendation for you. I really like that Perfect in Pink. 1,000 Wishes. And this 1,000 Wishes was poured in 2024. I'm not sure how I ended up acquiring this candle. 1,000 Wishes is not my favorite fragrance from Bath and Body Works, and to be honest, I think I like Pure Wonder a little bit more, and I think that they're fairly similar. Pure Wonder and 1,000 Wishes. I think that Pure Wonder might have a little bit more of a floral component to it, which is kind of weird. The scent notes on 1,000 Wishes just say crystal peonies and almond cream, but I've always thought there's quite a bit of like fruit happening in this, like a stone fruit, almost like a peachiness in there. Not necessarily like a berry situation, but definitely more fruit than what's indicated by these scent notes. Crystal peonies and almond cream, like, I'm really confused by these scent notes. This is just another really typical Bath and Body Works fruity floral. And yeah, I'd say peony makes sense. There's definitely kind of a softer floral note in there, but I also pick up on a considerable amount of like kind of a sweet stone fruit, kind of like a peach, maybe a little bit of plum happening in this one. Yeah, and no almond cream. I really don't pick up on almond cream in 1,000 Wishes. Definitely not compared to almond cream is also a scent note on this Perfect in Pink candle, and you're definitely picking up on the almond cream in that one. But in 1,000 Wishes, not so much. To be honest with you guys, I'm not sure how I ended up with this candle. I think I must have accidentally purchased it, which is surprisingly something that happens to me a fair bit when I'm in store. You know, I'll go around and I usually end up with like needing to use 2 of their baskets by the time I'm done candle shopping, you know, especially if there's been a whole bunch of like new releases out or something like that. And this wouldn't be the first time that something ended up coming home with me that I wasn't 100% sure that I meant to purchase. 1,000 Wishes has been around forever. It's a really, really popular fragrance. I can't say that it's one of my favorites, but when I found it in the candle closet got a big like reorganization a couple of weeks ago, getting everything sort of set up for spring, clearing out a lot of the winter stuff, putting all the winter stuff that I haven't got around to burning yet, putting all that stuff in storage. And so I found this 1,000 Wishes and I just decided to melt it. I just put this under a candle lamp in my kitchen for a while, and it was really strong in there. I'd say it was easily giving me like a 7.5 on the first couple of melts, and then it gets a bit weaker and goes down to a 7 and then a 6.5 and then a 6. And then once it falls below that point, I'll put it in a candle crock just to get the rest of the fragrance out of there. As you can see, I did my like little freeze and flip technique. I talked about my freeze and flip in the last weekly wax wrap up, and I got a lot of comments about it, and so I think I might continue to kind of explain that method of candle melting for a little while in case anyone missed it. But when I have a candle that I plan on just melting the entire thing, I really hate dealing with melted wax. You know, what a lot of people do is they'll melt a top layer and then pour some wax off, melt a little bit more and then pour some wax off. I can't stand doing that. And so I usually have two methods for heating candles under a candle lamp. I'll either put it on the very, very highest setting, you know, particularly with candles that I don't think are going to be that particularly strong. I'll put it on the highest candle setting and just melt the entire candle in one go. I use a 50-watt bulb on my candle lamp, and I keep it probably only about an inch or so away from the top of the candle, so my lamp will melt an entire candle. But if I think something's gonna be a little bit too strong, then I will put the candle lamp on a setting that's about halfway. I think I've got 4 settings on my candle lamp, so I'll put it on like setting number 2, which will melt about half of the candle. And so I'll melt the top half of the candle 3 or 4 times, and then once I've noticed it started to get a little bit weaker, I put the whole candle in the freezer so the wax freezes and melts, and then I will just take all of the wax out. I can't do it with this one because it's not really frozen anymore, but I'll just take the whole thing of wax out there and flip it and put it back in the jar. I'm melting like the bottom half of the candle from the top down, and that's what I did with this one, which is why you can see that the wick nickels are like poking up like that. Did the good old freeze and flip technique with 1,000 wishes, and yeah, it was really strong under that candle lamp. I kept it in the kitchen for like a whole month, I feel like. No, probably 2 weeks. weeks. I mean, I was rotating it off with a couple of other things, but it felt like I got a lot out of that candle. Okay, I also finished up dried lavender and oak from Yankee. I actually finished up 2 of them. This is the one that is a little bit older with the sort of randomly placed clip art on it and the trash can lid. And then I found like the newer version of it. I can't decide which is worse. I can't decide which is worse. I really don't think that they look that great either. And I think that the sizing of the label on this 3-wick is a little bit odd. And we also have like the tin trash can lid on these as well. I picked up like 3 or 4 3-wicks from Yankee Candle the last time that I was in Walmart. I had never tried, believe it or not, 3-wicks from Yankee before, but a lot of people told me that they were getting good strength and throw out of them. I really, really like this fragrance, and I could definitely smell it when I was burning both of these candles at the same time. All right, the scent notes on dried lavender and oak, it just says, this is a woodsy fragrance at an outdoor farmer's market. The scents of hand-tied bunches of lavender combine with woodsy notes and spices. Enriching the scene are top notes of peppercorn and a base of cedarwood and vanilla. So the top notes are white peppercorn, lavender, and bergamot. The middle notes are davana. It's a deep cut there, davana. Davana, I believe, is like an herb, an Indian herb, which I think would be a little bit like woodsy and sweet and a little bit spicy. Could you imagine if someone were to smell this candle, not reading any scent notes, and just be like, I think there's a little hint of davana in there. Deep cut. Anyways, sorry. The top notes, white peppercorn, lavender, bergamot. Middle notes, davana, white flowers, and moss. And the base notes are vanilla, patchouli, and cedarwood. And I really do like this fragrance. I've been really into the lavender lately. I don't know if you guys follow my channel regularly. It's been lavender snowfall, farmhouse lavender, dried lavender, and oak. I've been going through a lot of lavender candles lately and really enjoying them. And I think that this is a lovely one. I love the woodsiness in here. It does have kind of similar vibes to farmhouse lavender from Goose Creek, but I'd say that there's a little bit more of a focus on the lavender note in this than there is on that Goose Creek farmhouse lavender candle. I really like the sort of dried component to this fragrance, the woodsy dryness, the sort of dried lavender of it all. It doesn't really give me potpourri, because potpourri often I associate with something that's really actually quite like strong and sharp. This has kind of a nice sort of dried kind of dustiness to it, but like dusty in a good way. Yeah, I really like it. It's a lot of scent notes we get there. I definitely pick up on a little bit of peppercorn. I think the peppercorn is what's giving it just a little bit of a spicy component. I can't say I pick up on bergamot in here. It doesn't really give me anything that's sort of citrusy. Davana, I mean, I would never pick up this candle and claim that I could like smell a note of davana. White flowers, sure. Moss, perhaps. Vanilla, patchouli, and cedarwood, okay. I mean, yeah, I'd say patchouli and cedarwood. That's fair to say. I don't really think I grab much vanilla in this though. I'd say predominantly we've got peppercorn, lavender, cedarwood. Yeah, if I only could choose 3 scent notes for this candle, it would be like dried lavender, the peppercorn, and the cedarwood. I really, really like the way that it's balanced. Oh, this is a nice one. Yeah, I'd say these 2 candles smelled exactly the same. I don't think they've changed the wax formula on this fragrance between this one and this one. Even the color of the wax, like the wax really looked identical on both of these candles. was I getting more strength and throw from the 3-wick than I usually do with the 2-wicks that I purchase? I don't think so. I really think that these candles performed almost identically. I did burn them at the same time, but I also burned them both separately in my bedroom so I could kind of like assess how they were doing for strength and throw. I mean, the number of wicks that you have on a candle doesn't really necessarily make all that much of a difference. What's giving us strength and throw is really how deep the wax pool is and how large of a diameter that we have on a candle. And you can see that this candle is indeed a little bit of a larger of a diameter, but not by much. Like really not by much at all. Like I can put this candle inside of this one, but there's really no wiggle room on them at all. So the diameter of these candles are almost identical, and it felt like they performed pretty much exactly the same. I have one more 3-wick from Yankee in my collection, and when I'm finished with that one, I think I'm just gonna go back to only purchasing the 2-wick tumblers. You know, I just get so many 3-wick candles from Bath and Body Works and from Goose Creek that I really like to have a bit of a different format once in a while. And also these 2-wick tumblers, I really do like the way that they burn. I think that they burn a lot nicer than this 3-wick did. In fact, you can actually see by the color of the wax here. And like I said, the wax looked identical on both of these candles before I started burning them. But as you can see on the 3-wick, the wax became really quite discolored and a little bit icky at the end, whereas the wax on the 2-wick still actually looks really quite nice. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the performance for each of these separately now. The 3-wick candle on its own, I would say, was giving me about a 5 in the bedroom. So in my more open space, it was definitely kind of lost. Like, I would say it was like a 4 in my more open area. Like I had to be standing pretty close to be able to smell it. In the bedroom, it was giving me a 5, which meant when I walked in there, I could detect it. I wish it had been giving me a little bit more. However, this was a struggle. This was a struggle for me. I didn't like the way that it burned. I felt like the first 2 or 3 burns did pretty well. It was fine. But then after that, it was really small flames. And usually small flames mean that it's gonna take a really long time to pool out and give you a deep wax pool. But I really found that I couldn't let this candle burn for longer than like 2 hours. Even when it was dudding out, it would be like a really deep wax pool in no time. And so I'd have to extinguish it. And then when I went to go light it again, it would once again be really small flames and itty bitty wicks. But the wax pool would, it would really go deep pretty fast, and so I'd have to like burn it, I'd have to blow it out again. Like it was just really annoying. Like after the first 2 burns, it never really felt like I was getting a nice proper burn on it ever again. Like the entire last 2/3 of this candle were really kind of a struggle in terms of just managing the wicks, the wax pool, and the burn time. I found it really quite annoying, to be honest with you. The 2-wick did a lot better, and once again, like I said, I'm just gonna go back to only buying these 2-wick tumblers from Yankee. I like the fact that you can let them burn for a long time. I think that you can safely let these ones go for up to like 4 hours without it causing you any problems or starting to soot or get discolored. Like it was a really, really nice clean burn for the most part. It always burned evenly. Strength and throw, exactly the same. Kind of lost in my more open space. In the bedroom, it was giving me a 5, so I could detect that it was there. When I was burning both of these together in my more open space, it was giving me like a 7, and I was happy with that. Am I happy that we now need to be buying, 2 Yankee candles and not even a single wick. Like I've got a 2 wick and a 3 wick here. You have to be burning both of these to get a 7 for strength and throw. It's not acceptable. It's not something I would recommend doing. It's not really a wise way to like spend your money, but I'm a candle freak. I'm a candle addict and I really like this fragrance. And so I wanted to be able to experience it, which is why I bought 2 of them. And I was very happy with the amount of fragrance that they were giving me when they were both burning in my more open space. I'm not sure if I would repurchase this one because I'm certainly not going to buy 2 of them again just so that I can get the strength and throw that I want. I would maybe consider buying another one in this format to put in a hurricane in a bathroom and see how it does in there because I really do like this fragrance a lot. But yeah, I mean, as far as were either of these tremendously successful candles? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Which is a bummer, but like I said, it's kind of where we're at with Yankee Candle these days. I always say that Yankee is my Brokeback Mountain candle company because I just can't quit them. I will probably always continue to give Yankee the benefit of the doubt just because they were the first candle company that I really fell in love with. And despite all of their issues, they have some lovely fragrances. I think they have such great fragrances. And it's just such a shame that they can't give us a little bit more bang for our buck. They've almost become a little bit of a joke now, I feel like, in the candle community, which also kind of breaks my heart, but that's just where we are. Okay, Twinkling Lights from Goose Creek. Moving on to better news. I really enjoyed this Twinkling Lights candle from Goose Creek, and I love the packaging on this collection. Really, really pretty winter collection from Goose Creek here. The scent notes on Twinkling Lights are iced berries, sugar plum, soft mint, and vanilla snowflakes. I wasn't convinced that I was going to give this candle a try until I started to hear and see some reviews of it that were quite positive. I'm not really big on berry fragrances, especially not in the winter time, but Goose Creek does a great job with their winter fragrances. I don't really think that fruits and berries are necessarily a strength for Goose Creek, but I do think that they're sort of atmospheric, outdoorsy winter candles. I think they do a lot of those very well. I wanted to give this one a try. You absolutely do pick up on the berries and plum, but this is actually a berry and plum fragrance that I think is kind of appropriate for winter because of that mintiness in here. It definitely gives it this sort of cooling effect, and it's really nicely balanced, and there's a little bit of smooth vanilla in the base of this fragrance as well. As far as berry goes, I feel like maybe it's like a blackberry or a raspberry sort of situation. It's definitely not like a strawberry or a blueberry. I recognize strawberry and blueberry fragrance notes from Goose Creek right away because I'm not a huge fan of them. It seems kind of like a blackberry with a bit of a smooth plum, and it's balanced really well with that mintiness, which gives it a little bit of like an icy coolness that I really enjoy, and then kind of a smooth, like chilled vanilla as well. Yeah, I really like this one. It's a little bit different. It's a little bit interesting. I definitely like Goose Creek does, just like all the other candle companies, they want to give us some sort of like berry fragrances, even though it's the dead of winter. I don't think that Bath and Body Works does the greatest job with that, with things like strawberry snowflakes, bright Christmas morning. To me, those aren't really winter berry fragrances, but Goose Creek actually gives us like these fruity and these berry fragrances in the winter that always do have either some mint or some eucalyptus or sometimes even like a little bit of a coconut in it or something, and it gives it that sort of like chilled vibe, right? And I really, really like this one. The plum note in here reminds me a little bit of a plum note I have smelled from Bath and Body Works before. It's like iced sugar plum, perhaps. And it was a fragrance that was repackaged as blueberry marshmallow bar. Actually, I'm not sure what came first, the chicken or the egg. I'm not sure if it was blueberry marshmallow first, and then blueberry marshmallow bar first, and then it became like iced sugar plum in body care, or if it was iced sugar plum in body care first, and then it became marshmallow blueberry bar. Those words have lost all meaning to me now. The plum note in here, though, just reminds me a little bit of that fragrance, but the mintiness in here is what really sort of gives it an interesting and a nice balance and kind of takes you to that wintry place. And this candle also performed really well. I burned it all the way down till the end there. No sooting or like soot marks on the sides of the jar. That wax is still looking really, really clean for the most part. Just a little bit of swirly murkiness that happened at the very end. Those wicks are still standing up nice and tall. And the strength and throw on this in my more open space was easily a 7. Like, this candle had an absolutely good, like, strong presence to it in my more open area. I really enjoyed it. I never even put this in the bedroom because I felt like it would be maybe just a touch too strong in the bedroom if it was getting up to like an 8.5 or something in there. So I kept this in my more open space, easily like a 7, probably even a 7.5. Really enjoyed it. Beautiful clean burn, no dudding out, no itty bitty wicks or teeny tiny flames. This will absolutely be a repurchase for me if it comes out next year. And if you like fragrances like this, I have absolutely no reason to not recommend it. Also from Goose Creek, I finished off this Black Cherry. And this is sort of like their year-round line, kind of like the White Barn Bath and Body Works Goose Creek equivalent is like this sort of packaging that they do. I think that this candle just came with a regular tin metallic lid, and then I replaced it. And I've been doing that a lot lately, actually. I'm just so bored of like these metallic lids on all of the 3 wicks that we get. And I don't usually save the lids that are like super fancy, you know, for like the Halloween candles and stuff like that. But I will save a lid if it's just like a regular red lid or something, and put that on a candle if I feel like it looks a little bit better. So if you do notice candles in my weekly wax wrap-ups that don't look like the lid that it probably came with, you're probably right. I definitely put this lid on just because I thought it made the candle look like just a little bit more chic, you know, than just having like a plain metallic lid on it like that. Anyways, so Black Cherry, I was hoping I would like this, but it turned out, and I should have realized this, but it turned out to just be a complete dupe of Black Cherry Merlot from Bath and Body Works. The scent notes on it are black cherry, crisp apple, sweet plum, and sparkling sugar. Now, what I will say is this is very similar to Black Cherry Merlot from Bath and Body Works, but I actually do think that this is a nicer fragrance. I was kind of hoping when I ordered it, after reading those scent notes, I was hoping there'd be a little bit more to it than just a Black Cherry Merlot Bath and Body Works dupe. And I actually do think that there was, even though at the same time, it's also still quite similar. I thought that this candle was a little bit richer and a little bit darker in fragrance than Black Cherry Merlot. Black Cherry Merlot to me just comes across as extremely sweet, and I've always thought that there's something a little bit medicinal about Black Cherry Merlot, and I feel like this Black Cherry from Goose Creek is a little bit better because it's a little bit richer, a little bit deeper, a little bit smoother, and it doesn't have that same sort of medicinal note to it. And even though sparkling sugar is one of the scent notes on here, I don't really get like, it is a sweet fragrance, but I don't really get that super duper sweet, like highly pitched granulated sugar situation. It's really quite smooth, rich, and deep. It's got that cherry vibe in there. I totally pick up on the plum in this fragrance. There's a little bit of like a dark jamminess to it. it. But then also on top, there's kind of a light sweetness, which I think is that apple note that I'm picking up on. Yeah. I don't think that this is going to be a repurchase for me. This is nothing that I'm writing home about. And it is very similar to Black Cherry Merlot from BBW, but I honestly thought that this was a little bit nicer, a little bit more rich, and a little bit more complex, and also a much better performer than Black Cherry Merlot from Bath & Body Works. I mean, I burned this all the way down to the bottom. It never dudded out. It never gave me itty bitty wicks or teeny tiny flames. Just a little bit of a dark swirl at the very end of the candle there, but as you can see, the wicks are still standing up straight and doing just fine. The strength and throw on this too is like easily a 7 in my more open space. Maybe I'd also have to even give this one a 7.5 in my more open space. I never tried it in a smaller area. In fact, I had so many reasonably strong candles in the last week or two that nothing got moved into like the small bathroom. I've been burning single wicks in the bathrooms because none of the candles needed to go in there. This was easily 7 or a 7.5 for strength and throw, and also just a really good burn, a really nice, even, consistent burn from top to bottom. So if Black Cherry Merlot from Bath & Body Works has been disappointing you recently, I would highly recommend giving this one a try from Goose Creek. Not only do I think it's a nicer fragrance, but the candle performed really well. I mean, it's been a long time since I burned a Black Cherry Merlot from Bath & Body Works. The last time that I did, it was probably in the last year-round White Barn Core packaging that there was. That was a terrible performer. Constantly dudding out, itty-bitty wicks, teeny tiny flames, maybe a 5.5 for strength and throw, not good at all. So I don't know if Bath & Body Works has improved it recently. I kind of doubt that. So Black Cherry from Goose Creek might be a good option for you. Okay, also, Peaches and Cream Cake from Goose Creek. Once again, kind of the same collection as that Black Cherry candle. And once again, I changed the lid on it just because I thought that this lid looked a little bit nicer. This Peaches and Cream Cake was a real powerhouse too. Oh my goodness. Peach fragrances are hard for me, and I kind of like this one. I hate the peach fragrances that we get from Bath & Body Works most of the time. Specifically looking at you, Peach Bellini and Market Peach. Oh, that Market Peach candle. No. But this actually I really liked. The scent notes are Georgia Peaches, Sweet Cream, and Moist Cake. This is a really, really rich candle. And even though it is quite sweet, it's not too sweet. I think that the peach note in here, it actually really surprised me how much I liked the peach note in this. It smells like a really nice, fresh, ripe, juicy peach. And a lot of the time, the fruity sort of bakery gourmand fragrances that we get from Goose Creek, I'm not thrilled about the type of fruit notes that they use in a lot of these fragrances, but I thought this one was really, really well done because it's actually very peach forward and it's a good peach note. There is a considerable amount of a cakiness in this candle as well, kind of like a buttery sort of cake batter vibe, but also a really, really smooth sort of vanilla cream component. And I think that this is actually really nicely balanced and smells delicious. I really enjoyed this quite a lot more than I thought I was going to. Once again, this is probably not a candle that I would purchase without someone kind of recommending it to me or something. And who was it? I don't know. Maybe it was Tracy at 3-Wick Thesis. It was a while ago, but someone told me that I should actually try this one. And so I did, and I was really impressed with it, to be honest. Really impressed with it. I mean, it is a strong candle too, and it's just this really nice, the peach note is bright and sweet and juicy, and then there is a considerable, kind of a dense sort of buttery cake batter, and just this really nice, smooth vanilla vanilla, evening out the balance of it, and the candle performed so well. This was like a peach colored wax, and I will say that the last couple of burns, once we got past the 1/3 mark here, in fact, I still have about this much left on the candle. So ordinarily with this much left, I probably would burn it like once, maybe even 2 more times. But this did start to get a little bit icky. There was like a peach colored wax on this, but that peach colored wax was definitely like a brighter color when I first got this candle. It became substantially darkened. I'm not seeing, yeah, there's no like soot, like poofy, like dark soot stains, but you can actually see there's a little line there. That's when, right here, that's when the candle started to become a little bit murky and discolored. I might have let it burn for a little bit longer than I should have, but I'm actually pretty good at keeping my Goose Creek burns down to like a 2-hour burn, like 2.5 hours max. So yeah, the first 2/3 of the candle performed really well, nice clean burns, but then the last third of it definitely got a little bit too dirty, murky, sooty for me. I called it a day at this point here, but the strength and throw on this was really quite good. This was strong. This was easily an 8 in my more open space, like easily an 8. Like I'd go as far as to say this was a little bit of a powerhouse. I wouldn't dare put this in like the bedroom or the bathroom. It would just be way too much. This was very, very noticeable. When I had this burning in my main living area, I could smell it in the kitchen. I could smell it in the bedroom. Like the fragrance really, really traveled. It was very strong and really nice actually. Don't think this would be a repurchase for me. It's just really not like in my sweet spot when it comes to my fragrance wheelhouse. But you guys know me, I will try almost anything at least once. And I'm really glad that I did try it because this is something that I really would recommend to people who like something that's like peachy, like a great peachy gourmand. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that peaches and cream. That was a strong one. That was a good one. Just a little bit disappointed with the way that the last third of that candle burned. I also finished up a wax melt from Goose Creek. I just hauled this not too long ago. This is Campfire Marshmallow. I thought that this candle, or this wax melt, I thought this was going to be really similar to Marshmallow Fireside from Bath & Body Works the first time I tried it, but it's actually quite different. The scent notes are fluffy marshmallows, vanilla beans, spun sugar, and toasted vanilla cream. It's definitely got a little bit more of like a smoky and woodsy component to it than Marshmallow Fireside does. In fact, you know, Marshmallow Fireside has just gotten so weak over the years. Like, maybe this is just the way that I feel like Marshmallow Fireside should be, you know? Like, a lot of Campfire and a lot of marshmallow. The marshmallow note in here is definitely a sweeter, like, kind of granulated, sugary marshmallow note, but it's actually balanced pretty well with that sort of rich smokiness. It's a very sweet fragrance overall, but I like the kind of campfire component to this one. I melted this in a empty Bath and Body Works jar under a candle lamp. Yeah, I really zapped all of the fragrance out of this one. It did pretty well. I'd say that I just put all 6 of the pieces of the pie. I just put all 6 of them in here all at once and just let the whole thing go on a high heat. I'd say it was getting up to like a 6 or a 6.5 for strength and throw in my kitchen. Very noticeable, totally acceptable. Nice fragrance. I'm really enjoying the wax melts from Goose Creek these days. If you haven't checked it out yet, I actually have a whole wax melt haul from Goose Creek that I posted last week. So if you're interested in that, I would go and check it out. Anyways, yeah, that's all I've got in terms of candles and melting stuff this week, folks. How are you guys? What are you guys burning? What are your Sunday plans? Hit me up in the comments below and let me know. Speaking of Goose Creek, I don't know if any of you guys watched my candle haul with Steve. I posted a spring candle haul this week with Steve from Goose Creek. Steve from Goose Creek. I posted a spring candle haul from Goose Creek with Steve this week. And one of the candles that I was the most excited about was this fig basket candle. And what a weird situation this is. This candle smells nothing like figs. The scent notes on here are juicy fig, dark berries, green leaves, and white woods. Steve and I were just beside ourselves trying to figure out what this candle is. Actually, I'm gonna play a little clip. Roll the clip. Now, this one is one of the ones that I am most excited for. This is also a brand new fragrance from Goose Creek this spring, and it is called Fig Basket. I love fig candles. Like, my favorite types of sort of fruitier candles are like rich, dark, like jammy, like fruity fragrances. And I love fig fragrances. So I'm super excited to see what this one smells like. Really nice wraparound on here. It's got sort of a glossy finish, so it kind of shines a little bit. Read us the scent notes on Fig Basket, Steve.
That name, I don't know if I can get behind that.
Fig Basket? It's just a basket of figs?
Just a basket of figs.
Just a bundle of figs?
Juicy fig, dark berries, green leaves, and white woods.
Ooh, I've got high hopes for this one. Tell me what you think, yeah.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't think I like this one.
No?
It's got like a
Oh, I don't like it either.
Yeah.
Oh, this is disappointing.
I don't even know what it smells like.
This smells like tomato to me.
Yeah, it's
Does it
like
smell like
starchy, like not.
Does it smell like
like
tomato?
savory almost.
Yeah, it smells savory.
It smells like you just ripped out some plants out of the ground.
It's weird. It's like, this does not smell at all like fig to me, you guys. What are the scent notes again? Juicy fig, I don't get.
No.
Dark berries, I don't
Not
get.
at all.
Green leaves and white woods.
Maybe green leaves.
Yeah, so it's a
what
very like herbal, green, like lush green candle. There's like, honestly, it reminds me a little bit of that tomato candle that we got from Bath and Body Works off the vine. Like, there might be a little bit of like a stern sort of floral in there, like a geranium or a carnation, and then like kind of a funky herbaceousness and a lot of like greenery, like leaves, right? But I am not picking up on anything like dark and fruity or fig-like really at all. Like none. I swear I'm getting tomato.
It does smell like tomato.
Okay.
It smells like, picture you're in a garden and you're ripping tomatoes out of a plant.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily horrible.
I should say that I don't really dislike this fragrance, but it's just not coming across like what I was expecting at all.
Don't smell like no fig basket.
It smells to me like Off the Vine a little bit from BBW. Really, really strange, right? Like, and I say in that video, it's giving me tomato vibes. And I just want to thank a lot of people in the comment section for that video, sort of confirmed my feelings, either saying that they picked up this fig candle and thought it was really weird too. And in fact, Charity Rose, who I really love, Charity Rose has a great candle channel. She does a lot of Goose Creek. She also does a lot of wax melts and a lot of like vendor wax melts. So if you're not following or subscribing to Charity Rose, I would definitely recommend checking her out. She's a wealth of knowledge, and she commented on that video that she thinks that it might have been Tomato Garden, which is a fragrance from Goose Creek that I haven't tried before. I don't think it's come out actually since I've started purchasing from Goose Creek, but Charity Rose commented saying, maybe you accidentally got Tomato Garden. The scent notes on Tomato Garden are sweet mandarin, garden cilantro, fresh parsley, and tomato leaf. And I'd have to say that those scent notes sound spot on. Cilantro, tomato, yeah. And parsley. That's what I'm getting. Cilantro, tomato, and parsley. Nobody can convince me that this isn't a production error. This is absolutely not what it was supposed to be. The confusing thing is that they didn't put out that garden tomato candle. So how did this mistake happen? But I'm absolutely convinced that they have poured the wrong candle into the wrong vessel and must have just either not noticed or been like, whatever, we'll sell it anyways and roll the dice and see what happens. And so I did send an email to Goose Creek, not even so much, not that I really want like a refund or anything, it just almost feels like I'm being gaslit by a candle, you know? Like, fig basket, juicy fig and dark berries? I don't think so. Like, it feels like this candle is gaslighting me. Like, I don't really care so much about the $15 or whatever, but I would love for someone from Goose Creek to just cop to it and be like, oops, yeah, looks like we screwed that up. But I sent that email 2 days ago, although to be fair, I sent it Friday, like after business hours, and then it's Saturday and Sunday. So maybe I'll hear back from them like this week, hopefully tomorrow. I don't know. I even said in the email, like, I'm not trying to like lodge a major complaint here or even get my money back, but I would love some confirmation that something happened and this candle has nothing to do with figs or berries. And the reason why I'm not that upset about it is because once I got over the whole like hoodwinked and bamboozlery of the situation, I actually kind of like this. It reminds me a little bit of Off the Vine from Bath and Body Works. And look, I've been burning it. And I've actually kind of been liking it. It's not super strong. Like, I'd say that in my more open space, it's giving me like a 6 for strength and throw. And it's like tomato, cilantro, and parsley realness. Like, it's really not bad. It's just not fig basket. And it's burning really nicely too. So, I have no problems with a garden tomato candle, but don't try to tell me that there are any figs or berries in that fragrance whatsoever. And so far, pretty much everyone that I've talked to that have commented, got a couple emails about it too, from people that have purchased this one. We're all on the same page. So Goose Creek, we're waiting to hear from you. If anyone else has reached out to Goose Creek about this and heard from them, if you could let me know, I would really, really appreciate it, because I just need this chapter of my life closed. I need to finish burning my fig basket, garden tomato, and just move on. Anyways, I've also got a burning question here. Hi Greg, I know you're a big Tori Amos fan. I'd love to know if you're planning on going to her tour this year, and also, to make this question candle related, what do you think would be Tori's favorite type of candle? And this is April from Portland. Oh, it's like I've actually noticed I've got quite a few people from Portland who watch this channel. Hey April, how you doing, girl? I take it you're a Tori Amos fan as well. In fact, one of the records that's on my record wall right now is one of my favorite Tori Amos records from the Choir Girl Hotel. I just love that one. Yes, so Tori's going on tour this year, and I am going to be going to see her in England. I got tickets to the Birmingham show. I am very, very, very excited. Really happy to go back to England because I have a lot of friends and family there. And Birmingham is a really, really great city. I've been to concerts there before, so I'm super excited for this Tori Amos tour. And it's coming up really fast. This is in April. It's February, March, April. I can't believe I'm going to be seeing Tori Amos so soon. soon. And also, I'm doing like a solo trip for this one, which isn't something that I've done for a really long time. It's something that I've been learning about myself in my old age, and especially since I've been like traveling for work a little bit more, is that I really enjoy taking a solo vacation once in a while. You know, like the boyfriend is busy. He's not going to be able to book off time to come with me in April. And my friend who would usually come to see Tori Amos concerts with me, my friend that would usually be up for a trip for a Tori Amos concert, she now has two very young children at home. And we met for dinner not too long ago and like discussed the idea. And unfortunately, she just can't swing it. She can't swing a Europe trip in the middle of April with her two young children. And also she's not traveling to United States right now, so we're not going to go to US show together. So I just decided, you know what? I'm doing a solo trip, Birmingham, here I come. I do have a friend that lives there and a couple of relatives that aren't too far away. And also like I'm in touch with like the Tori Amos fan network. So I know quite a few people. I have quite a few internet friends that are going to be at the Birmingham show that I'm sure we're going to meet up with for a drink afterwards and then go do something fun before. So yeah, going to Birmingham to see Tori Amos. April, you never said like if you're going to any shows and what shows you're going to. Now, what would Tori's favorite type of candle be? You know, the only thing that I know really about Tori Amos fragrance-wise is I know that she loves sage. I know that she burns a lot of sage. Like, she usually burns sage before a show. And so I have to assume that Tori's favorite candle would be something with sage in it. You know, I bet you she'd probably like Palo Santo and sage from Bath and Body Works. I think that kind of gives me like a Tori Amos feeling for sure. What else? There could be, you know, Cornflake Girl. Never was a cornflake girl. Maybe Tori Amos would like the cereal milk soft serve because that's giving ice cream and cornflakes realness. No, I don't actually think Tori Amos would like I don't actually think Tori Amos would like that. I think she would really, really like Palo Santo and Sage from Bath and Body Works. So, April, get back to me and let me know what Tori shows that you're going to. And let's keep in touch about it because I love to like, you know, talk about the set lists and all that good stuff. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I watched the final reunion episode. To be honest, it felt a little bit anticlimactic. And it was still good though. I mean, basically at this point we have the entire cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City up against Lisa and Meredith. You know, it's two versus the rest of them. Like, nobody was happy with Lisa or Meredith's behavior this season. Nobody likes the way that these two are just like thick as thieves and have each other's back. Whatever happened on that airplane, like it's the two of them versus everybody else. And I think that everybody else is on everybody else's side. I mean, Lisa has just been so obnoxious, straight up saying that she thinks she's better than everybody else. And Meredith is just so strange and so weird and so rude. And whatever she did to Brittany on that airplane, like clearly traumatized her. And none of her apologies to anybody have been even slightly like heartfelt whatsoever. I think that we're going to have all of them coming back next season. Like, I don't think that they really need to shake up the cast next season at all. I feel like all of these girls are probably going to be able to come back and just pick up right where they left off with like the fighting of it all. I felt kind of bad for Brittany. I don't understand this whole Brittany is an anti-Semite situation. Like, so apparently Meredith like had this nail tech that she recommended to Brittany, and Brittany got her nails done by this guy. And this guy was basically like, hey, I'll do your nails for free if you tag me in an Instagram post. And so Brittany was like, yeah, absolutely. Got her nails done, loved her nails, did an Instagram post about it. And then afterwards, it became known to Meredith that apparently this guy has been on social media saying like anti-Semitic things, which is horrible, absolutely. Hopefully we're all on the same page here, that nobody wants to be supporting somebody that's like publicly or in any way like an anti-Semite. And so Meredith was apparently not happy with how long it took Brittany to take down her Instagram post about the nails. You know? I mean, Brittany is a really sweet person. And so when it became known that this guy had said all these anti-Jewish things, Meredith was horrified and is just not happy that it took Brittany like a week to take down the Instagram post. Okay, calm down, Meredith. Like, I think that Brittany probably took a moment and like maybe it didn't even like clue in right away. She did eventually take down the nail post, you know? And like Brittany, she's a lot of things, but she's not a hateful person like in any way at all. But after these accusations, Brittany's in tears. She gets up in her big yellow dress and storms off and runs backstage and is like crying into the arms of her assistant or her makeup artist or whoever. Like, she's so upset. Eventually she does return to set to finish off the reunion, but this is Meredith just once again making a mountain out of a molehill. Like, once Brittany found out that this guy was a jerk, she took down the nail post. Sorry that it wasn't removed and taken down fast enough for you, Meredith. Like, not everybody lives on Instagram and responds to things in a split second like that. Like, have you ever talked to Brittany before? Doesn't exactly come across like an anti-Jewish hater. Like, where is that even coming from? Like, God, give it up. I think that we need to calm down about like what people are doing on social media, because like if you follow someone or you like someone's post or whatever the case may be, like it's really kind of just like a TV channel, you know, like following someone on Instagram or liking a post, it's really no different than like sometimes maybe just having a TV channel on in the background that you're not really paying that much more attention to. I'm so over these storylines where it's like, well, you followed this person and then you followed this person and that person doesn't follow me back, and I saw that you liked this person's photo and you didn't take your Instagram post down fast enough. Come on, guys, let's do better than that. Meredith, you're just trying to create some spin here, just trying to take the heat off yourself a little bit. I don't buy for 1 second that Brittany is anti-Semitic. I doubt she even completely understands what that means. I'm sorry. Anyways, Bronwyn is just in tears this entire like third part of this reunion, and I have to admit I actually feel a little bit sorry for her. But once again, it's kind of one of those situations where it's like you dug your grave and now you're kind of gonna have to sleep in it. Like the first season that she was on this show, you know, last season was her first season, and she was so gung-ho, wearing crazy costumes and talking about Todd and her husband all the time and showing her life, and she was so gung-ho and so into it. And then the rubber started to hit the road, and now I really think that she might be wondering whether or not she should have gone on this show. At one point, Andy asks her point blank, basically, do you think that the reason why you and Todd are separating is because you did this show? And her answer was no. But at the same time, I think that they wouldn't be separated right now if she hadn't done the show. Because Bronwyn also admits that after her and her husband separated or whatever, apparently her husband Todd then binged watched every single season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, started searching his name on Instagram, searching his name on Reddit, searching his name all over social media, and basically, it sounds like he had a little bit of a breakdown over the whole thing. And I mean, I really can't blame the guy. He did not come across very well at all on this show. He came across horribly. He came across as the last person in the world that probably anybody would want to marry. But at the same time, you know, the shows are only showing us snippets, and it's edited and it's produced, and they're always going to be trying to show like a point of view. Like, I don't don't think I ever thought that Todd was really like the devil, just not the type of person that I would in any way want to be married to. And I think that Bronwyn, probably the fact that he's a rich, grouchy sourpuss definitely earns him some points in the marriage market. I don't think Bronwyn would have married this guy if he was just an average dude with an average salary, but I do feel bad for her because she also reveals on this episode that her father just passed away. I mean, this must have been a really crappy year for Bronwyn, and there was a ton of backlash about her mother being on the show and all of the memes that went around about her mother. However, this just continues this sort of thread that, and I notice this more with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City than I do really any of the other franchises. Like, these women come on the show just having absolutely no idea what they're getting themselves into. Like, listen, like, if your mom's gonna be on here, if your dad's gonna be on here, if your kids and your husband are gonna be on here, you have to assume that everything is gonna be edited and distilled into the most poignant moments and conversations and emotions, and it's gonna amplify everything that might already be going on behind the scenes. It's crazy to me that women get on these shows if their marriage is in a rocky place, if they have a rocky relationship with their parents or their daughter. Like, unless your life is like going through a fairly smooth, like peachy keen period, why would you want to put it all out there on TV? And then you're so shocked when everything completely blows up in your face. Like Mary and her culty church, like Jen Shah and her scam business, which, by the way, Jen Shah just got out of jail, but I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't seen any clips of her, like leaving the prison. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to look into that right away, actually, because Jen Shah, she went on this show knowing full well that she's running this huge crime internet spam ring, not thinking that that's gonna get found out about. Once internet sleuths start, digging into you, like, there's not much that you can hide, ladies. Like, just don't go on this show if you've got issues like that in your life, girls. And the Salt Lake City housewives in particular, just like, they don't seem to get it. And Meredith tries to really throw production under the bus a couple of times, in this 3-part reunion. She's been doing it this entire reunion, Well, they edited it to make it look like this. And they left out the part where I said that. And Whitney calls Meredith out on it. And Whitney is like, Meredith, I really don't actually appreciate the way that you've been talking about production lately. Like, these people are the producers and the filmmakers and the editors, and they work just as hard as we do. Part of the reason why we have all this success and all these people watching this TV shows is because the producers and the storyboarders and the editors are just doing their job and making our lives as compelling as possible. So if something doesn't end up the way that you wanted it, you can't just blame the way that it was edited. If you said something, you said it. And Meredith is just like, backtrack. Like, Meredith and Lisa are just incapable of accepting any sort of accountability for anything. And I'm already looking forward to the next season. I am already really, really looking forward to the next season because, this was just a fantastic, most captivating season of television. And I think that these Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, really, truly just some of the strangest, most eccentric women that Bravo has ever assembled for one of these franchises with just such a huge lack of self-awareness. It makes for great TV. It really, really does. Anyways, I'm not up to speed on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'll talk about that next week. Now that Salt Lake City is over, I'm gonna have some more time to really focus in on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So stay tuned for that. I'm a couple of episodes behind. I really, really need to catch up. I think that's all I have for you folks today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram at allaboutcandles and email your burning questions to allaboutcandles@gmail.com. Instagram. If you could hit me up with a like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and give me some of those hype points, I would really appreciate it. I love you for watching today, and until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.